movie ever made. And let me tell you, the hype is real. This movie really is a spectacle.
If my American friends ever take a recommendation from my videos, I want it to be this one. RRR, which stands for Rise, Roar, Revolt, which is already f***ing awesome, is India's biggest blockbuster. It's a Tollywood action fantasy film, not Bollywood, because it's in Telugu, and it is streaming on Netflix now, but only in Hindi.
And it's currently on Netflix, and it's starting to gain traction with Western audiences, and I think for good reason. This movie was just a lot of fun to me. It gave me that feeling of where you're very high on life, just that buzz of energy.
Which is strange and a bummer. But I've actually seen this twice now. I had the pleasure of seeing it in theaters. I have a lot of amazing friends in the film community, Indian and otherwise, who encouraged me to see it, and I'm so glad because it is probably the most fun I've ever had in the theaters. And it was shamefully my first experience with Indian cinema, which I'm now trying to remedy. I'm in the middle of watching Bahubali, which so many people recommended, but RRR is just a titan of a film, and I cannot wait to talk about it.
And, you know, I've seen a few movies this year, and a lot of people have claimed certain movies are very thrilling or gritty or intense, and I don't always share that sentiment. But as I watched this film, and pretty early on, I kind of thought to myself, yes, this is more kind of what I'm talking about. This is probably the most fun I've had watching a film this year. This is a Tollywood film. It's a
movie, of course, is RRR, which stands for Rise, Roar, Revolt, and trust me, it's worth what you've heard about it. I always preface my videos about modern Indian movies by saying, forget the stereotypes, the Western stereotypes that are usually associated to Indian movies. Of course, every country has common traits which you can find across the board of their films, but modern Indian movies are not just over-the-top romantic stories interrupted by absurd, low-quality CGI action fights and endless dance pieces. On the contrary, I'm sure that if films like Andhadhun or Lunchbox had been made by Hollywood, they would have received a lot more attention. But let's get back to today's topic, RRR. What is it all about? The story is set in the early 1900s when India
moves absolutely beautifully, and it has the same, is perfectly relatable, I think, to most. At least I did. Yes, it's all completely ridiculous, and all of it is very removed from reality, but the motivations behind it, the emotion behind it, is perfectly relatable, I think, to most humans. One of my favorite scenes in the film is the big party sequence, kind of in the middle of the film. I just think it moves absolutely beautifully, and it has the same kind of vigor and a spastic kind of energy that I remember from like a great MGM musical from the 1950s, but it's also so aggressive that it feels almost like a fight scene, another fight scene that you might see in the actual film there. So
when I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be more like a serious war movie that had really good action scenes in it. I was not prepared for how fun this movie is. How many different things it does in the time span. It's got incredible, like really bizarre action scenes where like one of the heroes is on top of the other one's shoulders. It's entirely like a chicken fight in a pool. That's one of the climactic action scenes. You've got dance numbers in there. You've got romantic comedy. You've got a buddy comedy. It's everything. Everything is in here.
What? This dance is incredible. I think this is what everyone pointed out